absolutely 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 All right, there we go. I think we're live now, aren't we? I think we are good. Yes, I do. All right, there we go. I think we're live now, aren't we? I think we are good. Yes. Yes, we have sound. I'm trying to do this live thing right now. It's like, oh. Yes. Yes, we have sound. I'm trying to do this live thing right now. Alrighty. So let's actually do this, guys. Well, welcome to the very slow first update for this. This is the live update, guys. I'm doing right now. So bear with me. I'm still trying to figure all this out. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna do a bit of a live update for you guys in today's session, and then I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. So again, this is just I'm thinking about doing more live updates across the market there. So let's actually get straight into today's market update for you, and then we can get going from there. So what we're looking at right now is we're looking at the thanks, Craig. We're looking at the actual the S&P, the Nasdaq. Let's actually start off with the Nasdaq here. So looking at the Nasdaq, what we're seeing right now, guys, is we're seeing that the Nasdaq is indeed definitely in a bit of a funk right now. In a bit of a, hey T, how you doing? And so what's happening right now, guys, is when it comes to the Nasdaq itself, we're in a very, very, very slow period through here. So I wouldn't be too surprised, guys. Again, right now there's a little bit of buyers coming in control through here, but the big thing we need to keep an eye out for is that we're not really strong on the upside when it comes to, when it comes to this market here. So the big thing that I'm watching for right now on the Nasdaq, this is the weekly chart. If we go to our daily charts here on the Nasdaq, we can see here that even though we're going up, we're not really going strong to the upside. So that's going to be a really, really big thing that I want to watch out for this week here is what actually happens here on the Nasdaq and what actually comes after that. So, because if we start to head back down from here, if we start to roll over here, guys, and start to head back down, then that could be something where we could possibly see a possible fall to the downside. So that's the big thing you want to keep an eye out for on the Nasdaq, is that level through there. So if I zoom in, it's probably this trend line here, also in line with around about, I'd say, that sort of level all through there, around that 11,400, 11,600 level. What we want to be doing is we want to watch this level here, because if the market does roll over here, again, we're starting to get the buyers in control right now, but if the market does start to roll over here on the Nasdaq, then what's probably going to happen on the Nasdaq itself is we're probably then going to start another leg down. Now, if you go back and study bubbles through history, you would notice that the bubbles that happen through history, you would notice that that a lot of the times we end up retracing almost 100% of the move most of the time. And this is actually interesting. If you look at most bubbles, like look at even the Bitcoin bubble, right? So if we go to the Bitcoin chart, where is that right now, right? If you look at the Bitcoin bubble last year, what happened? We had a big move up. We actually had a double take for it. And then look what actually happened. We eventually came down and retraced almost. See where the bubble started going vertical was right there, right? That's where the bubble really started, all the way back here, right? So because the bubble started here, and what I mean by bubble, guys, it's very, very easy to see a bubble on a chart. Okay, so it's very easy to see a bubble on a chart. What we need to see is, what you see is if things just go vertical. Okay, so when things go vertical, that screams big bubble in the chart. Okay, and so what you want to be doing is you want to be cautious of that, because what happens is if things go vertical really, really quickly, that actually happened with wheat as well too. I know some people got stuck with wheat. We tend to eventually get back down to almost 100% of that entire move from there, from the bubble there. So the purpose of me bringing that up is that if we have a look at this Nasdaq chart once again, we can see that that's what's happening. So if we do start to roll over, we could see a lot more downside that come out of that Nasdaq chart from there. So that's a really let's actually see here. US oil, sure. Hi John, down. Adam, yeah. Craig, can you do TA on US oil as well too? Sure. I'll get to that in just a minute. Let me just finish off with the good old stock market itself. The same for the actual stock market itself here as well too. This is a really big, really big key important area that we're at right now, guys. I've spoken about this actually on some of my actual updates that I've done in the past. The big thing that I'm watching for when it comes to this here is what actually happens here, because if we hold here and then we start to roll over to the downside, then what's probably going to happen is this is a really sort of big line in the sand here. If we break this, then we're probably going to have a really big move on the downside to come out of this one here. So looking at that level through here, what we're seeing right now, excuse me, we can see that once again, if we look at the bubble territory, remember the bubble actually started from down here. Okay, that's where the bubble really started. So there's there could be a possibility of seeing a retracement down to that level there. Now, I know that may sound crazy. Now, I'm not talking about like straight away, right? As you know, the market does stair-stepping down. The market does stair-step down, not straight away. But if we do start to roll over here, that's probably going to trigger a move, because this whole thing would then just be one big pullback all through here. And then we're probably likely to see the cascading effect happening over many months on the downside here. So something's setting up here, and we really need to be patient and present with what these markets are telling us, because one, we don't want to be impatient around these markets, because these markets can really just chew you up and eat you alive. So that's the very first thing I do say. The next thing I do say is that we really want to wait for these really good confirmation trades of what we look for. Again, like for me personally, guys, for me personally, guys, I never trade just what I just mentioned there. I never trade on that. Well, I didn't never say I never, but 5% of my trading is based on like things I'm talking about here, right? 95% of my trading, my bread and butter, is based off my system that I use every day. If you go to johnsfreegift.com, you can grab a free trading course and I teach you that there, right? So then if we go through this overall upward movement through here, okay, this overall upward movement, and then we start to roll over, that could be a really, really big move on the downside coming. So this is the really big picture here, guys, the big picture on the S&P 500. We really need to be cautious of that. So, but if we do continue up even more, and Adam, you said don't forget the head and shoulder that is forming. I mentioned that before, yeah. But Adam, right now, if we actually have a look at it, it's not really a head and shoulder formation anymore. It's pretty much very, very close to a double top. So the head and shoulder formation is no longer there. It's gone. And once again, because as you can see, right, we're actually it's basically like a technical double top now in the market. So that's a really big key to look out for from that perspective there. Let's actually go look at oil. I don't know how to change my screen with this live software here that I'm running right now, so I'm just going to have to use the USO. Yeah, I'm just going to have to use the USO for the oil here, which is pretty much the same thing anyway. So looking at oil, the really big thing is let's actually go look at the weekly chart here. Let's actually see what we can see through here. So, okay, cool. We can see that through there. We can see, look at that through there, guys. Like that was that low level through there. Isn't that amazing? So it came down to that major level of support. You'll notice Microsoft did that as well too. And so it actually came down. Look at this here. That was actually like just a real little false breakout. As you can see, see how it actually broke just below the line and then created like a slingshot pattern. This is like a big V bottom as well too. So it does look to me that oil is starting to change the tune back to bullish again. Even though we've been in this really big sort of downward phase through here, we're starting to change the tune back to bullish. And I'll tell you the reasons why. The thing you can see here, right, we're definitely on that big sort of downward movement from there, as you can see. I'm just trying to see if there's any other trend lines that I can use to see what else is going on. So possibly something going on through there. But we definitely have a long-term level of support and resistance going on through, or probably through there, maybe possibly even through there, or even recently. So that level, possibly through there. But if we go let's look at this now. So we go back to the daily charts now, and you'll see, right, you'll see these markets and what's actually going on here. So you can see that what's actually happening here, right? We're in a bit of a downward trend through here, okay? So you can see here, right, we had this high, and then we started this downward trend. And again, I'll show you the Microsoft chart here. And if you guys are around then, I actually called the Microsoft the Microsoft potential turnaround. So you can see here, right, market's making a lower high, then we start to make another lower high, then we start to make another lower high, we start to make another lower high, sort of an equal high, but just a slight higher high. And as you can see, right, we're making these, once again, lower highs, equal highs, lower highs, lower highs. And then what happens here is we break down through here. And as you can see, look at this here. That was more like a major support level, flushed down, and now it's flushed back up. And now what it's doing, it's actually now just created a high compared to this high. What does that actually mean? That means now potentially this whole movement on the downside that was there, potentially on the USO from there to there, as you can see channeling, is now not intact. So what happens through here is we've broken a higher high. That means we're no longer in this downward phase through here. We're no longer in that phase. And if you go to johnsfreegift.com, video number 2 in the free trading course, guys, is all about the technique that I'm using right now, which is the trend analysis, how to identify it, but also the reversals and so on and so forth by looking at the chart itself, right? So we made a higher, but that's actually a warning sign for us right now. It's a complete warning sign for us to say that something's now changing. So T, you said gap fill, potentially gap fill. What can happen from these is once we get this higher, then we potentially then start to get a movement on the downside. Like we may get a little pullback from here, right? We may get a little pullback, and then we start to see another leg back to the upside. I'm short oil right now. Okay. I'm not sure why that is the case, T. If you're short because you shorted it because you heard some news announcements and stuff like that, then that's a really bad mistake. You never short a market just because you hear a news announcement or you hear some people talk about it and all that sort of stuff. It's really, really, really wrong, right? The number one thing, T, the number one thing that we should be focusing on when looking at that is, especially if you're trading the market, T, you should be really focusing on what the actual market is telling you. And right now, this market is completely giving us a complete, big, massive, and if I do this thick, it's actually creating a V bottom in the market, right? So there's a V bottom right there. Edit. Oh, let's go copy. Right, we're actually creating a big V bottom in the markets, and we've broken out of this triangle pattern, and we've made it a higher high. So the market is actually telling us right now, that doesn't mean it's definitely going to go up, right? But if you're short the market, T, and you're trading wise, right? Now, investing wise, it may be different, but trading wise, the market is giving us a big V bottom and a higher high. That means the sellers are no longer lowering their prices. We're no longer in a downward trend. We're no longer in this downward phase anymore. And so you can see this big overall movement on the downside right now, and now we made the high. This is a really important thing, guys, okay? We must be listening to the markets and respecting what the markets are telling us, because, you know, we can think something, right? We can really think something, but we need to be alert on this one. So I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about here. So if I bring up Microsoft as an example here of this. So I brought up Microsoft and I was watching this, and I did, as Microsoft was coming back down to here, I'm like, if Microsoft really starts to bounce from here, then we could be starting to see a bit of a trend change happening in the markets. And so look what actually happened through here, right? So if we go back to this level here, right? So I'm going to bring back the weekly charts here for a minute, just to get a much more bigger view. Look what happened here, right? So we made this high, and if I bring up, actually, let's just do this here. What is this one here? Okay, cool. Right, so if I bring up, that's that very long-term trend line, okay? This is where you guys, looking at the weekly charts and going back for the long-term trend lines can really help you when identifying these longer-term levels. Look what happened here, right? This trend line really started back in the back of 2019. This one's support level here, support level here, support level here. And this is one of the big important things of reading the weekly charts when we are trading the markets. And so look what actually happens here, right? We have this high, and now we're making this lower high. And this is the importance of reading the weekly charts, because a lot of the times when the market starts to rally through here, especially on the daily charts, we think the trend has changed, and then something knocks you back down, like, oh my goodness, how come the market went down again? Well, the market's now in a bit of a downward trend phase. Look at this here, now another lower high, okay? And then guess what? And now another lower high. But look what actually happened here, right? The market started, this is where guys listening to the markets, and not really me, just it's the markets, right? You'll be able to see here, right? It made a lower high, then a lower low. Lower high, then a lower low. Lower high, now look what happened, made a double bottom. It didn't make a lower low. Something is changing, all right? Again, the importance of reading the weekly charts here. Something is changing. Then what happens is, as you can see, what happens? We then ran up and made a higher high. What is that? That's a potential now saying, guys, we're no longer in a downward trend, just like the oil chart, right? We're no longer in a downward trend. And we could be getting ready to start a new upward phase in these markets here. So if you go back to the daily charts now, and I squeeze my charts up to identify the circles, as you can see, look what actually happened. It came back down and created the higher low and then had this nice move to the upside. This circle up here was the warning to say we're no longer in a downward trend. We're not making lower highs anymore. So we're not in this downward trend, and we made a double bottom. We're now starting to see this upward move taking place now. And again, that's the whole thing about identifying what's going on with the markets. Once this higher high came in place, it's giving you a warning sign that things are now changing from this level through here. And then you start to see what actually happened from that perspective through there. So that's actually one of the big things through there, guys, that I see. It was looking at Microsoft there. Craig said, is AR3 a buy? Let's go AR3. What is AR3, Craig? I'm not sure. I can't. What's the actual code for that, Craig? I can't. It's not. There's no AR3. I'm not sure of the code of that. So that's why, guys, we always must be respecting the markets. And I've been, most of my trading career, which is almost 20 years now, going on 19 years today, 19 years this year. One of the big things I've been focusing myself on has just been a technical analysis trader, right? Just a technical trader, not really a fundamental trader. And I've done really, really well. My first 10 years, I didn't do well. In the last 9 years, I've done well. And now I'm really, really, really starting to kick in the gear, and I'm starting to just see incredible opportunities right now in the markets from there, from a trading perspective. And I'm talking about incredible opportunities where like there could be some really big moves, like using options, 500%, 1,000% return. Again, I actually run a live room every day, guys. I run a live trading room every day, but it's only a small group. It's only like 10, 11 people in there. If you're interested in joining that group and becoming a client of mine, then go to getjohnshelp.com, getjohns help.com, fill out the application form, and I'll be happy to speak to you about that, and you'll be able to see the trades that I'm talking about from that perspective there. So that's again, and if I go back again, so I've been mainly a technical trader on the ASX. Okay, cool. Okay, let me see if I can bring that up. Okay, so I'll get back to what I was saying before, guys. So I've been mainly a technical trader since I started. Back again 19 years ago, and the thing is, for me, it's mainly been focusing on the charts, right? Charts, a technical trader. Now over the last 5 years, I've gotten really good at identifying some really good opportunities now for long-term investing purposes, right? So buy and hold for the next 2 years, next 10 years, and next 20 years. So if anyone really wanted to get a bit of understanding of what's one of the best investments for the next 2 years, what's probably one of the best investments for the next 10 years, and the best investment for the next 20 years, then again, I have that sort of marked out of where I think the best investments are for those time and horizons from there. And when I first started getting into like the big fundamentals, guys, like the fundamentals of things, and looking at the subscriptions and the newsletters and all that sort of stuff in the past, they really led me down the wrong path. But when I go back to the markets are always talking to me. And I really learned this from Don. Back in 2015 and 16, I started getting into, I started just veering away from my trading plan and getting more into subscriptions, newsletters, trying to listen to people that knew more about me, about fundamentals and so on and so forth. I thought I had to know that. And I'll show you this here. And I'll tell you about my story here. So as you can see, right, this is what we're looking at right now. This is the Dow Jones chart on the weekly chart through here. And as you can see right now, by looking at this Dow Jones weekly chart back in 2015-16 when Trump was being elected, look what was happening, right? So everyone was screaming crash, crash, crash. Now, by the way, guys, I had over $500,000 short position on it, which is around, I think it was close to $700,000 Australian for me. So $700,000 Australian for me. I had a short position on this here. The only reason why was because so many people were screaming, short, crash, 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 right? But look what the market was doing, right? We had a low, then we had this higher low. Then look what happened here, right? Look what happened. Then we made this higher high, right? And then now look what happened. As we go forward, look what's happening right now, right? Look what the market is telling me right now as I speak. This is a weekly chart here, right? This is a weekly chart here. And what is this doing? This is actually saying we are now in an upward trend. We're breaking out of this level here, which is a very powerful pattern, by the way. And we're breaking up. So if I'm short right now on the Dow Jones, all the newsletter subscriptions, so on and so forth, we're saying that this is probably going to crash, right? This market's probably going to see a movement on the downside. That's what this is. So I believed in them, right? And I completely threw out my technical analysis and just believed in them. But as you guys know, right, you guys know what eventually happened. Right? We end up making a really incredible big bull market up into 2018. So that was one of the big things for me that I started to realize what was going on in the markets there and what was actually happening from that perspective from there. So that's what I wanted to share with you on that there, guys. And that's why, like, no matter what we think, we always need to be focusing on what the market is actually telling us right now. And right now, it's actually not really telling us much, right? If we have a look at this here, we're making this high, right? We've got this sort of lower high here. We potentially have another lower high here. So we're not really too quite sure. The market's not giving us a definite answer yet. Okay, it's not giving us a definite answer yet, but it could be. It could be. Let's go have a look at. Let me bring up. I'll bring up TradingView. Let's bring up TradingView here, and I will look at. Let's go AR3. AR3, is it a buy? The big thing I'm looking at here, Craig, is why do you want to buy this? Is it because you think it's going to go up? Or like what's going on here? Now, the worst time to be buying something, if you haven't bought this yet, well, then you've already missed out. Right? Because you want to be buying in as, if it's a long-term buy and hold, right? You want to be buying in at the lows, and not not after the market makes a big move up. So for me right now, this is not a buy for me personally, because I don't have a good understanding of the company, and I don't see how this is going to filter through the system over the next even couple of years. Next 2 to 5 years, maybe 10 years. So I'm not sure about that process there, about what's going to happen with this one here, on this one. Yeah. So I wouldn't be looking to buy something because it's cheap, right? And again, you never want to be buying something just because you think it's going to be a good move to the upside. You never want to be doing that. So let's go over here now. But for me personally, it's not a buy. For me personally, only because I don't know the company, and I'll be guessing. If I said yeah to buy it, it'll be like a 50-50 bet. There's no real strong identification on that there. So let's go have a look at the metals. Actually, you know what? One thing I want to share with you. Let's go have a look at the financial sector. So we'll go look at the financial sector. One of the big things about the financial sector, guys, I really want you to be focusing on is what's happening right now in the actual financial sector. Let's go back to the daily charts here. This is the daily charts here, and I'm so ready to SPY 430 this week. I'm so ready for SPY 430 this week. You could be right. Buying calls Monday morning. Ooh. Why are you buying calls, Jamaica? Big interesting thing here. Why are you buying calls after the market has already gone up? Why didn't you buy calls if you're so bullish? Why did you buy calls here now? Like, a big mistake people make is that they wait for the market to go up and then they start to get in. Really big mistake there. Really big mistake. The market's already actually been going up for the last few weeks and now you want to get in? That's the wrong time to be looking to get into any market. You want to at least wait for the turn, right? Wait for a turning point from that there. So let's go back to the financial sector now, guys. And there's a massive delay here. Anyway, this should be the last up week. A lot of guessing there. I don't know. You could be right. See, isn't it interesting, guys? One thing I've learned is that like I don't have any opinion in these markets, right? Because my opinion most of the time is wrong. And so when I'm trading these markets, guys, I just let the market do the talking for me. I've realized that I don't have an opinion. I'm just listening to the charts. What I mean by listening to the charts, I'm reading the trend analysis. I'm seeing all these movements in the markets there. Soon the bears gathering their bearings. We will collapse 5% within 3 sessions. You could be right. It could happen even in 1 session, Jamaica. Right? So the really interesting thing is that you think the market is going to go down overall, and this is going to be the last up week, but you're going to be buying calls right now. Interesting. So looking at the overall financial sector, guys, something big is happening with the financial sector. I don't believe this is the last shoe to drop within the financial sector. You can see here that we've been developing. If I go to this one here, right, we had this low point. Now we're making a lower low. There's a real good possibility, guys, that we're going to be making some sort of lower high up here. Okay, there's a real big possibility that we're going to make some sort of lower high up here as well too in the markets there. Bear rallies are my favorite. They are so predictable. Really? Bear markets are predictable. So, but right now, Jamaica, we're not really in a bear market, are we? We're actually in a bull market on the SPY. Interesting. Right, we're actually in a slight bull market from here. We're actually slightly making these higher lows. So we're actually in a slight bull market. So we're actually not in the bear market right now. Interesting. Bear market rally. The market is going up. So when this is not a bear market rally. This is actually still in a slight upward leg, but the buyers are slowly in control right now. So looking at the financial sector, guys, we can see that that we're probably going to get a lower high here soon, guys. I wouldn't be too surprised to see this thing like a lower high, and then for this thing to start to roll back over again. Looking at this. And again, guys, you never want to trade based off, well, I think the financial sector is going to collapse, so I'm going to be short in the markets. Don't ever do that. Big mistake. All right. JP Morgan had such a big up move, didn't it? Look at JP Morgan. Such a big up move. Let's go to Bank of America. See, Bank of America is still on a strong downward slope from here. So if we have a look at, let's go bring this chart up here. Yeah, so Bank of America is still on a big downward slope. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see Bank of America continue up a bit more, but this is the start of a new downward trend, I would say. Because you've got this high point up here. You've got this lower high here, low, and lower low through here. So I wouldn't be too surprised now we've actually broken this down. We've actually now having a move up. I wouldn't be too surprised to see this thing move up and then possibly have another big rollover again of Bank of America there. Let's go to Citibank. Let's have a look at Citigroup. Not really a strong trend happening through there. Goldman Sachs. Let's go look at Goldman Sachs. Again, Goldman Sachs is in more of a downward trend as well too. We're getting a rally right now. And so high, lower high, down, and then back up again, and now another lower high from there. So really, really interesting stuff happening on the financial sector. Let's go have a look at the mining sector, guys. So let's go have a look at the GDXJ. And the GDXJ is now, to me, getting ready. This could be the potential start of a really beautiful upward trend. I've talked about this in my market updates before, but this is the very first time we've actually created a higher low in the markets from here. So that'll definitely be one thing that I'm actually watching out for, guys. I'm watching here. Very first time we've actually done that, and now we're actually breaking out of this. We're not yet, but we're potentially starting to get ready for a breakout of this upward trend here. So I wouldn't be too surprised to start to see this GDXJ really start to have quite a big up move in the markets from there, from that perspective from there. Let's actually delete one of those trend lines off there. So yeah, like a bit of a pullback here, guys, on the GDXJ, but the GDXJ for me, guys, is my baby in a sense. I believe the GDXJ has an incredible move coming out of that. Let's go have a look at the GDX. And the GDX right now is at the top of, as you can see, it's at the top of this overall channel right now. So again, like a bit of a pullback here, guys. But that's all I expect actually happening with the GDX through here, right? So a bit of a short-term pullback before away we go again in that sector through there. Let's go have a look at silver right now. Silver right now is definitely at that point through there. So you can see here we actually completely rejected this overall level from here. And then now what's actually happening is now we're actually getting a bit of a slight pullback, or now we're probably likely to get a bit of a pullback out of this market from here. So that's actually looking at the silver market from there, guys. And then also looking at the gold market. This gold market, guys, to me is one of the markets that I'm just super excited about. I think this gold market, guys, has so much upside potential. And this is where for the last few years I've been telling people, if you want to be in a position, don't try and fight it. Meaning, so many people were focusing on the crypto bandwagon, and gold was the unloved child. Now gold is starting to become, starting to become that love child, and we are going to go through an incredible bull market out of gold. And if you look at gold has just been one of those things, right? It's like everyone was on the crypto mania. Now, what's going to happen, guys, is this. Right now, people are not really catching on the gold yet, right? The media's not really talking about gold. When the media starts to talk about something, it's too late, right? It's too late. So if the media comes out and saying, oh my goodness, gold is up 40% in the last 3 months, it's gone crazy. You're late to the party, okay? Because the party is now just slowing down. Oh my goodness, oil is collapsing. There's all these fundamental reasons, blah, 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 blah. You're late to the party. It's probably going to bottom and reverse. So this is where a lot of traders, if they're trading based off what they hear, and it doesn't make sense. Well, the news said that this was so bad, but it's going up. Yeah, because they're always late to the party. Right, they're always late to the party, so that's why we never be trading based off what they are saying in the markets from there. And that's where, guys, we shouldn't be guessing. Don't be trying to guess, right? The worst thing you can do is guess. Well, we should get this, we should get that, we should get this. No, we should just listen to the charts, right? That's the most important thing. Just be careful there too, Jamaica, right? Up sometime this week, we should top, then very fast collapse. What if it doesn't though? What if it doesn't? What if this is actually just the start, Jamaica? What if this is the start of a move back up to new highs? You must be open-minded to that as well too. And until the market tells us that we're starting to roll over, and we're starting to get that rolling over effect, then it's so important to not have a confirmation bias behind you. So important. Because what if this market is getting ready for a really an up move from here? Like you just don't know that. Okay, so do not be looking for confirmation bias. Because what can happen is that we can be so dogmatic about the way we think about something that we're completely ignoring the obvious about what's actually going on in the markets there. So, but looking at gold, guys, gold is probably likely to get a slight little pullback from here, right? A slight little pullback. And then we're probably then likely to get a bit of a breakout and then a really strong, incredible move back to the upside from here. So that's what I see happening there with the good old gold market, guys. Now, guys, the big thing here, I'm going to finish up the live stream now. My very first live stream done in a long time here. So the big thing I really want to share with you guys by you trading the markets, remember, it's not about being lucky when trading these markets. Okay? It's not about being lucky. And you can see, right, like it's not about even guessing. Like a lot of people think trading the markets is like, well, I think the market's going to go up today, so let's actually buy it, right? They think that's trading the markets. That's actually not trading the markets. That you might as well just you might as well just, go put your money on Black Panther, a horse race or something. Like I don't know, I don't gamble myself. But so you might as well be doing that, right? If you want to be in the realm of actually doing well, then we don't guess okay, well, I think the market's going to go up today, so therefore I'm going to buy call options. That's actually the wrong thing to do, right? So let's actually just say you did that. And let's say you made $1 million. Oh my goodness, John, you don't realize it. I'm the man. All right, I'm the man. I just made $1 million from this position in the markets, right? So, if you did do that, cool. Now, do you have the confidence to go do that exact same thing for the rest of your life? And the answer is no. And what's probably going to happen over the next few weeks or the next few months is that you are going to have your ego stuck so far up your backside that you think that you are the king. Yeah, you're the king, you're the queen, right? You're the man, or you're the woman. I've been there, I've done it, right? And then you start to double up and triple up because you got it right last time, right? And you made $1 million, so you got it right last time. And what ends up happening? You're thinking, because you're thinking now. Again, don't think, just trade on patterns that you are confident in. And then what happens, right? And then what happens? You will then double up and triple up. You'll overtrade. You'll lose all that money, and then probably everything else you got as well too. You may have started at 100 grand and then went to $1 million, but then you go down to zero. It's going to happen because it's not replicatable, right? That's what long-term trading is all about. I know with my system that as long as I stick to it, and it requires patience, because some months I'm very active and some months there's like no trades at all. That's just the nature of the beast. But I know as long as I am patient on waiting for these setups to appear in the markets, for me personally, I'm going to have a successful trading year and a successful trading career. It's very, very predictable that every year I'm going to make money. And the reason why is that one, I believe in my system and my setup that I take. Right. Morning. Hey, Chris. Thank you, man. So one, I believe in that, right? I believe in my setup and I believe in what I'm doing. So and so for me personally, guys, again, that's what it all comes back down to. Stop trying to be so smart. Stop trying to like guess and gamble these markets. All right. And that's where, guys, if you're interested in getting my coaching, go to getjohnshelp.com, fill out the application form, or if you just want some help from me for free, go to johnsfreegift.com. I'll give you a free trading course from there. In that free trading course. But again, my coaching, get Johns, JOHNS, getjohnshelp.com. There's an application form where you can actually trade with me every day. So the whole thing about me telling you that, guys, is that the really big thing is that a lot of people trying to be smart. You got to be really, really clever, right? Really smart, really clever to make money in the markets, right? But, you know, just a couple of good trades, guys, a couple of good trades could make you six figures. Like, and I really do mean that. The thing is that what does that setup, what do those setups look like, right? And then understanding what the setups look like and then having the patience to wait for those things. And then if you can do that, then maybe over the year, then now you can start to build up to a 7-figure position or more. The thing that's stopping you from really breaking through is that you're trying to guess and gamble. Well, I heard this thing on YouTube, so I'm going to short the market, or I'm going to buy the market here, or I'm going to do this here, or I'm going to do this here, I'm going to do this here. And what ends up happening is that you have no confidence in what you're doing, right? So what you do is like, well, I'm only going to put on a real small position, so it doesn't really matter. It's like, no, it does matter. It does matter to your confidence. I'll give you an example here, okay? I'll give you a real life example. So as I said before, I have a coaching program, getjohnshelp.com. You can apply for it there. And part of that coaching program is that you can actually trade with me every day, okay? It's only a real small group. But the thing is this, guys, right? There was a person in there, I'm not going to name his name, but there was a person in there who, what happened was that he wasn't patient and waiting for setups like I was. And I was in there every day, scanning the markets, looking for the markets, okay? And I was actually scanning the markets, looking for my trading setup, right? Because that's your foundation. Like, what actually are you looking for in a good setup? And most people can't even tell you that. Like, that's your foundation to your success. If you don't even know what you're looking for, then you don't even have step 1 sorted out, let alone step 2 and 3 and 4, which is your consistency, discipline, and patience. But anyway, let me explain something here. So what one of the guys did in the room is that we went through a week or two where there was no trades, like no trades at all. But that's just the way trading is, right? Some months are very active, and then some months it's very quiet. You just don't know which ones. So anyway, so what ended up happening was there was about a week or two where there was no trades. So he then went and actually shorted the markets. This was only February this year, by the way, guys. February this year. He was so impatient, January, February this year. He was so impatient that he just wanted to trade the markets. But he goes, oh, it's only a small position, and I know, and I've been listening to all these other people, and I know the market's going to crash. So therefore, I'm short the markets. I've just bought put options. And I told him he's probably going to lose money. And so what ended up happening was when I did that, and when he did that, one, the market did slowly keep continuing up. And so he lost money. But what ended up happening is at the start of February, there was two really good, amazing quality setups that what I call a long-term plays, right? Long-term plays. And what I mean by a long-term play is I got it like a short-term opportunity. I'm going to meet it for a couple of days. I don't really like to trade those anymore much myself. I really like to trade those long-term opportunities, which means they have the potential of making really big moves, right? A really big move in that there. So what ended up happening is that me and my trading room actually took these trades. If I bring up Siri was actually one of them. This was this right here, right? This was actually one of the trades that we actually took, right? We actually shorted it. We found this trade. This one here and another one. Now, collectively, these trades here did about 450 to 500% return collectively on this trade and the next trade that we took. Now, again, we took this live in the room, and we actually rode it. We rode most of it on the way down. And so what am I talking about? Like a trade that has the potential of making a big move. This is one of those trades that had the potential of doing that. And as you can see, this thing lasted for about 4 weeks. So me and my clients really did really well from this thing, right? And for me personally, I had incredible, multiple six figures in the markets of profit from these trades. But the purpose of me telling you that is that I had no trades for a couple of weeks, but the person in the trade, one of the people in the trading room, he was telling me that, oh, John, well, he went short, but because he got so nervous going short and just trying to guess what ended up happening? Right? He did what? he got out for a loss, but then he didn't take these trades here. He goes, I'm just going to sit out here because I don't have any confidence in this market. So now he's completely on the wrong side of everything we're doing here, right? Completely on the wrong side of everything we're doing here. And so now he didn't take trades that met the plan. This here was one of them that actually had a big move down. And the other trade that we took was LSXMA. This was the other trade we took. Right, and again, on the breakout bar, guess what happened? We actually went short this one here, and we actually rode most of it on the way down. So these were the two trades I'm talking about right now. We're out of them now, but these are the trades what I talk about, guys, that are like, I know exactly the pattern I'm looking for. And these trades, especially if you used options, now I just shorted these I just shorted both these stocks. But if you use things like options and you ride most of it on the way down, you can start to pick up 500% to 1,000% return on some of these trades. Just on one of the trades, right? Just on one of the trades, because the move is so big. That's what I'm talking about there, guys, is that, like, I'm just waiting for really good opportunities that meet my plan. And then I'm trading with that. I'm not trying to guess the market. This is a big thing that it took me a long time to figure out, is that I'm not trying to guess. I'm not smart, guys. No one. And the thing is that once we start to come to realize that no one knows definitely what's going to happen this week in the markets or this month in the markets, you can start to realize that you don't need to guess. And you trying to guess, you're trying to be smarter than the markets. And the worst thing you do is that you try to guess based off news announcements and stuff like that. That's where you're going to really go wrong, right? So that's like the thing for me, right? So then I'm not guessing. I'm just like, okay, then I know the pattern I'm looking for in these markets, and I'm just going to wait for them. And for me personally, as I said before, I like to take the opportunity. I like to take the trades that have the potential of making really big moves, just like these here, right? Move down and a very big drop down again on the breakout bar. Again, I did these live. We all took this live in the room as well too. But guess what, guys? There is probably 4 to 5 stocks right now on a watch list that I got that are setting up exactly like this right now. That all I need now is a good breakaway bar, and I'm going to get in, and it's probably going to be another good 2, 3, 4, 500% return. Right? Maybe more, especially using options. I could do, one of my big trades was 1,200% return, and that happened last year. Over the space of 4 weeks, right? Using options there. But again, as you can see, guys, like I'm not trying to guess the markets, right? I'm not trying to guess. I'm not trying to hope. I'm not trying to see, what's going to happen here. Hey bro, why are you selling your amazing course for free? Why am I selling my course for free? That sounds like an oxymoron. I give it away for free. johnsfreegift.com. You can actually get the course for free. But why am I selling my course for free? Chris, how do I scan the markets each day? Well, I actually have scans that, the thing is, I'm scanning for my opportunities, Chris. So it's a really good question there. So firstly, I have my what I'm actually looking for, my pattern, what I'm actually looking for in a good setup. That's the first thing I do say. Then the next thing I do say is that then I have scans that help me go find the potentials in them. So I scan the entire stock market, and I'm also scanning, things like the S&P 500, the top 1,000 stocks. I have scans that go help me, instead of me looking through 1,000 stocks every day, I have scans that bring back potentials for that day, and then it takes me about half an hour, maybe an hour in total, to actually go through the list, go through all the stocks and see what's actually happening. Most days it's actually about half an hour a day. And so that's what I do there. So one, I have my, just like these trades here, Chris, that I'm talking right now, LXMA, and then also Siri. And again, I did take these live in the room, guys. They all came up on the scans, right? The scans actually help me do the most of the heavy lifting for me. Right, so they bring, instead of looking at 1,000 stocks every day, they might bring back maybe 10 or 20 stocks in total for all the different scans that I look at. And then my job is then to go through those maybe 10 or 20 for that day to see which one definitely meets the criteria, which one doesn't. So that's how I scan the market each day. It's firstly, I know what I'm looking for. Then I use technology to help me find the trades. And then just like with these trades here, and then once again, just like the Siri trade as well, this one right here, just such an incredible move. And again, the scans picked it up. But the first thing is what? The first thing is again, you must know what you're looking for in the markets. Okay, it's so crucial, guys. Stop trying to guess the markets. Do not be trying to guess the market because you're not smart. It's not. I'm not smart, guys. Right? I'm not the smartest guy in the shed. Right? Stop trying to outsmart the markets. Stop trying to be smarter than the markets, because it's not going to work for you. Stop trying to be smart. Just like then. What are the patterns, or what is the pattern for me? It's really only it's only one type of setup really that I like to look for. A setup, which means it's the setup, it's the pattern, and the entry bar and so on and so forth, just like Siri. What are the type of patterns I'm looking for that meet my criteria that I know that's going to give me the best chance of having really successful trades? Right, really successful trades, and not just a small little profit. Well, let me just test how this goes. As I said before, guys, we're talking, a lot of money here, right? And that's how trading is really done, guys, right? That's how trading is really done. So again, one of the biggest mistakes you're making right now in the markets is that, again, you're trying to guess. You're trying to be smarter than the market. You're trying to guess, and I learned the hard way that I'm not smarter than the markets. I have no idea. Ray Dalio doesn't have an idea. Paul Tudor Jones doesn't. All these subscriptions and newsletters and these funky dunky cycle indicators and all these other indicators, no one definitely knows what's going to happen this week, right? So the most important thing to do is that if you actually want to be able to know that you can rely on this as an income every year for the rest of your life, then guessing is never a good idea. We must have confidence in what we do, right? And that's where, like, I know no matter what environment we're in, bull market, bear market, sideways markets, that the system that I trade myself will always work because it has worked. And it's not like we go into a bear market, cool, I'm going to trade it, make money. Bull market, make money, so on and so forth, right? So anyway, guys, that is it for me today. Have an amazing week ahead. This is my very first live stream now that I've done, which was actually pretty cool. A lot of fun as well too. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you guys next time. See you, traders.